In early 2005, I was working with an artist on another exhibition and was invited by the gallery who represent Victor to attend an opening of an exhibition of new work. So that's the first time I met Victor, first time I saw his work. And there was something that very immediately compelling about the paintings that I saw in that exhibition, the way they were made, the way they were crafted, the use of very particular imagery, and the sort of ideas and propositions that tumbled out from viewing that exhibition as a whole, that sort of interested me, intrigued me, excited me, and also meeting Victor, we seemed to sort of have a certain kind of rapport immediately. You know, there was a kind of friendly kind of exchange. So from that point on, kept in touch with him, met him on various occasions, made more research about his work, got to understand much more about his work and the ideas he was interested in. And the invitation for this exhibition probably came around 2 years ago. I approached Victor and made contact to see if he would be interested in making an exhibition at Ikon. I was interested in Victor as an artist working in Romania, as until relatively recent times that was a part of the world that I knew little about, but because of political change there, was suddenly more information was coming out from that part of the world, as well as a lot more information from the West going into that. And so here was an artist grappling with that in some sort of way, dealing with this in his work, not in a literal way, but perhaps in a more oblique way or in a metaphorical way, and somehow reconciling these two traditions, the local traditions and the histories and the myths and the objects and the forms that he'd grown up with this newfound freedom, if you like. A lot of the imagery that is used in the paintings is found in some way near to Victor's studio or his home, be it in magazines, journals, wherever these images occur. And likewise, the objects are found objects that are brought together to create new meanings. The objects themselves, per se, are often have a certain oddness about them. So while one is aware of something that looks as if it could have functioned in a particular way, and the evidence of use and patina of age, etc., is very evident within the work, there is something also there's an unease, or there's something unsettling about the object. Especially then when a number of forms are combined to make a new object, how that begins to read in a very different way. The painting, for example, which is presented on top of the animal skin, that image, while when one looks at it, immediately you see it's a sort of mannequin wearing a costume. There's an ambiguity about it. When I first saw it, it made me think of almost like a moth pinned out on a sort of taxidermy plate, or it seemed to have some kind of odd, uncanny sort of atmosphere about it, a sort of an anthropomorphic quality. A certain tension was created because of the ambiguity of reading of the image. Very much this idea of the unconscious, the world where dreams exist, and how dreams can move across the spectrum from being pleasurable through to something much more threatening, perhaps. This sort of the shades in between. there's a connection in terms of the objects being found, how they have a certain history that is evident within their materiality, quality of their surface, etc. But then by this combination, they seem to be talking about something else. And Victor speaks a lot about an idea of loss within the work, and I think there's something about this retrieval of an image or retrieval of an object from a previous existence and reinvigorating it with new meaning. That seems to be about reconstituting an idea of memory in some way. With the large painting, it's showing the representation of these odd hybrid figures. Are they people in costume? Are they some sort of fairy tale mythological creatures? What appears to be set within a theatrical space, like a stage-like space, the juxtaposition with the large curtain on the window and how that recalls a theatre space whereby curtains would open to reveal something or curtains closed to conceal something, as an intervention into the architectural space of Ikon becomes an interesting point of departure, I think. Within the ideas of concealment or revealing, there are a number of works in the exhibition that deal with that, certain visual clues that recur across a number of pieces. So, for example, there is the photograph with the found or discarded gloves, which then perhaps echoes with the piece of work, which is a combination of a painting and the staff leaning against the wall with the leather gloves bound around it. There is the painting in the first room, which is physically partially obscured by a piece of black cloth, which again echoes with the final room, where one of the main gallery windows is obscured by a heavy black curtain. And I think with that concealment, or with something that's ambiguous on the point of being revealed and or concealed, there comes a certain sort of charge, be it some kind of a sexual or a kind of an erotic charge, indicates ideas of desire or control or power. A number of these kind of issues begin to evolve, I think, or begin to tumble out of the work. There are certain formal similarities, perhaps. The painting that has these sort of amoebic, atomic imagery, that seems also like some kind of odd, ghostly, like phantom form. One could say within the sculptural piece that is like a large stand that with the globes on the end, that there's a formal connection through shape there, but also the large mirror whereby the enamel screen printed images of women on the surface. There's a phantom-like quality to the image there. So there may be visual connections, but there are also conceptual connections between works. There is one piece of work in the exhibition that comprises two separate elements. One is a print on acetate, which depicts the silhouetted man's face with some sort of straw-like connection into a wall. And the second piece, which we have chosen to present in diametrically opposite in a connecting room, is of a puff of smoke emerging from a wall. That work becomes interesting because, if you like, in a metaphorical way, one can read it as describing two worlds meeting, the sort of membrane where two different forms of existence, two different worlds meet. And for that, one can read all sorts of associations into that. The notion that something can appear or disappear, rather like an illusionist, into a puff of smoke, the means of making images, the way that meaning is conveyed, the way that understanding or meaning can be of smoke and mirrors, of illusion. It can be an important